The Los Angeles Rams signed an offensive lineman. Who was it? Is it an impact player? We'll get into that. Also, Sean McVay talks Jalen Ramsey. You won't want to miss the update on Ramsey. And we got news and notes from Rams OTAs and a little update on a Kyren Williams new contract with the Rams. The possibility for that, where that stands, that's coming up next on a jam-packed episode of Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, drop some comments down below on all your takes, all your thoughts about your Los Angeles Rams. For the podcast listeners, write a review we'll read on the show. My name is Doug McCain. Friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. I've been covering LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 Sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo. The People's Champ is out, but we've got a jam-packed show for you. A signing. We're talking OTAs. Sean McVay talking Jalen Ramsey. Some updates on the Kyren Williams and Rams negotiations about a potential new contract. So much to get into, but we've got to start with the signing. The Los Angeles Rams, they signed veteran offensive lineman David Quessenberry to a 1-year contract. So the Rams did not sign any offensive tackles during free agency. They didn't select any offensive tackles in the draft, and that told me a couple things. One, they're confident about the guys they already have in that building, but then two, that they were going to find some depth before this season started, and I anticipated a deal like this one happening. And David Quessenberry, it's a 1-year deal. He's 34. Last time we saw him, he was with the Vikings in 2024. He was in uniform, suit up for all 17 games. Didn't make a start. He did start 4 games for Minnesota in 2023 and played 332 offensive snaps. And he's the journeyman. He's been on multiple teams. This is going to be his 5th team in the NFL. He was a 6th-round pick in 2013 out of San Jose State. Didn't play in any games, though, until 2017. He missed his rookie year, had a foot injury. Then in 2014, he was diagnosed with lymphoma. So he went through treatment, and then he came back in 2017. It's really this incredible story. If you remember, he made his comeback on Christmas Day, and he was promoted from the practice squad. It's a really great story of perseverance. And in his career, he's played 84 games. He started 30 of them, and 17 came with the Titans back in 2021. So he's played multiple positions on the offensive line. He's played right. He's played left tackle, and they're not looking for him to be a superstar. They're not looking for him to be Orlando Pace or they're not Big Wit. They're not looking for him to be just this elite offensive lineman. But what they are looking for is a guy that can be a steady depth piece. If you do get an injury, if you do have any issues along the line, he's someone that has experience and the ability to step into a situation. So if you're asking me if this is something, nothing, or everything, I think it's something just because it provides you depth. They needed to add more depth at the position. They need to add an offensive lineman at some point, and this is the kind of guy they're after. I think you look at the Rams offensive line right now, Alec Jackson, great season last year. Really, I mean, stepped up second half of the year. He was awesome. He earned that new deal that he got. Kevin Dotson, they love him. They gave him the new deal after they traded for him from the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's been everything they hoped he would be. Steve Avila dealt with some injuries last season, but he was really good his rookie year. I think he's kind of an X-factor player, if I'm being quite honest with you, as far as can he take the next leap. They have Coleman Shelton back playing center. You've got Bo Limmer as an option. Then you got Rob Havenstein, who this could be his last year, longest tenure Ram. He was with the Rams all the way back in there in St. Louis. So that's a formidable offensive line. And then you look at some of the depth that really this provides, and you definitely feel good about this signing. I mean, it's definitely one of those signings where He's a veteran, the age, the experience, and I like it. It's a one-year deal. So that is what you need to know about David Quessenberry. Now, interesting update on Jalen Ramsey. Sean McVay was asked about J. Ram. Remember, this is Locked On Ramsey right now. It feels like it. Of course, the truth is, tons of topics on this show. It's a 5-episode-a-week program, so he makes a lot in, but I got to give the streets what they want. And now you guys are going to talk Jalen Ramsey, and if it's worth talking about, if there's new news, then that's when I bring it up. And the new news is Sean McVay was asked about Ramsey after their practice on Wednesday, and McVay said, quote, that he would never close out those opportunities. He said, I would say this, there really hasn't been any meaningful, tangible dialogue as of late, but that could always change pretty quickly, as you know. So he has said, okay, the Rams are still interested, that they have a lot of love for that player, but I think it really comes down to how aggressive they're going to be, and if they kind of got all hot and excited on Jaylen Ramsey and have those talks kind of simmered down, right? I mean, it's kind of one of those things. You go to the car dealership, you want a car, and then if you can just make it to your car after the car salesman chasing you down, you sleep on a couple of nights, you're like, I'm not that hot on it, right? So you wonder if that's the case or if this is kind of a leverage play. If this is the quiet before the storm, things can change significantly. McVay also said, there's not a whole lot that I have to offer. There's a lot of layers with something of that magnitude when you're talking about the caliber of the player, the compensation that they're looking for in return. What does that look like in terms of how they want to handle what he's actually do? Obviously, we love Jaylen, so love. That's the word they use. They love Jaylen, so that's definitely worth noting. He said, we know Jaylen intimately. There would be some things that we would need to be able to do if that was going to be a direction that we want. We certainly haven't closed the door on that, but there hasn't been a whole lot of dialogue as of late in regard to some of the communication, and so we'll see if that changes. These things can happen quickly, but it's really the same as it was a couple of weeks ago. So we know they need a cornerback. We know that they could upgrade that position. We know that Akella Witherspoon, Darius Williams, Kobe Durant, they're back. You've got Kendrick. You've got Forbes. I mean, there's options there, but we also know that it is a position where you can't use the entire body of work for last year to completely judge how that position went, because they improved towards the back half of the season. But we know that they've made it no secret they do want to upgrade at that spot. And when he was asked about how they feel about the cornerback position right now and where the secondary's at, Sean McVay, he offered this as far as his assessment. He said, no, I feel good about where we're at. Obviously, Jalen's a unique deal, but I think we all feel this way in terms of the guys that have played. We've gotten a lot of guys that we've played and that have played meaningful ball at the corner position and at safety. We've got some different guys that can flex between safety, dime, linebacker, the nickel star spot. I think that the way that the guys approach the positions, similar to the previous question, there are a lot of young guys or maybe even guys that are new to the Rams but have accumulated a bunch of experience that I think are only going to continue to take steps. So, yeah, I mean, if guys can take the leap and Kobe Durant really wants that new contract and wants to stay in LA long term, yeah, he's fully incentivized and motivated to have a big year. We understand that, but still, I mean, is the version of Kobe Durant taking a leap as good as Jaylen Ramsey could possibly be, or another cornerback out there? That's a question that I would have. And Durant has a lot of potential. There's no doubt about that, but it makes you wonder if they're looking at that position as one of the missing pieces, that maybe they start the year, see what they have, see if guys have taken that leap, and you still have that first-round pick that you got in the trade with the Falcons. You still have some pieces and the ability to go out there and be aggressive as the season progresses to see if you want to make a move as it goes down. And look, the truth is the acquisition cost during the season, if multiple teams are after a player, that can go up. And you do have to overpay. There's no doubt about that. I mean, you're not buying the Halloween candy the day after Halloween, right? When it goes on sale, right? You're buying that before, and when it's at its highest price. So you have to kind of just buy into that, knowing that, hey, we got a special group of guys that we think we can win a Super Bowl with. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think that even if the guys play to their best, that this will be an elite secondary, but every team has its weaknesses to a degree, and you just hope that with the pressure the Rams get up front, with their entire scheme with Chris Shula in his second year, that they can just be a better team. And we're going to continue to kind of break down the secondary in depth and kind of what they do have in the coming weeks. But right now, that is what Sean McVay is saying about Jalen Ramsey. And coming up next, we got news and notes from Rams OTAs. Also, an update on a possible new contract for Rams running back Kyren Williams. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in games before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Tonight, you had Jalen Brunson going off for the Knicks. The Knicks forcing a Game 6. I'm looking at those Super Bowl odds. The Rams plus 1,900 to win the Super Bowl. The Eagles and the Ravens are both the favorites at a plus 700. But what's great about FanDuel is you can combine live prop bets mid-game based on how the action unfolds. So you get that feeling. You see the game trends. You can follow that. And I'm looking at that Game 6. Knicks, Pacers. I think the Knicks are going to force a Game 7. And I think that Knicks team, the grit, Brunson, Cat, I think New York's going to bring it back to MSG. But you're new to FanDuel, it's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. And we're off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Also want to send a special shout out to those everyday listeners out there watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. Cannot thank you enough. You guys are the day ones, the Ramley, the ones that make this show go. You know who you are, and this is the time, really. I mean, football's in the air for me. Maybe I'm crazy, but football is in the air, and I'm just going around town rocking my Rams hat. I'm feeling it right now, and just anytime I see social media stuff of the Rams actually getting into gear, I get excited. So now's the time to join that Everyday Listeners Club, too, and then you won't miss a thing about your Los Angeles Rams. You're going to enjoy this journey of Rams football from start to finish. So that's also the best part about it as well. Okay, here in our second segment, we're going to talk some Rams OTAs. And if you've checked out Rams Social, they've had some really nice content. There's a really nice video of Matthew Stafford throwing a really nice deep ball to Jordan Whittington, him going up and making the nice catch, diving in the end zone. And then there's the thing that stands out to me the most, and the thing that makes me the happiest, and that is that we've seen DaVante Adams in practice gear, wearing 17 with that Rams helmet on, and DaVante Adams has already stood out in Rams OTAs. I think he's focused, he's locked in. I think he's excited to be in LA and be with Matthew Stafford and be with Sean McVay. I think he's really happy to be there. And his teammates are really raving about him. I mean, not only is he there, and it's the transition from going from Cooper Kupp to DaVante Adams, and it's kind of this new era of Rams receivers. And let's be honest, I mean, guys, Cooper Kupp, even though the production wasn't there, that was an era. It's the end of an era, and now it's DaVante Adams. It's Puka Nakua's receivers room. It's Tutu Atwell, Jordan Whittington, and the teammates are loving him. Sean McVay said about DaVante Adams, I think the first thing I've been really impressed with is his willingness to share his openness and his refreshing humility in terms of being coached, but then being able to offer his insight. It's fun to be able to listen. He and Matthew have a dialogue of their accumulated experiences and getting on the same page for how they want to be able to do things. But he's been great, similar to what I was just saying about Terrence Ferguson. But he's been really great in the meetings, incredibly detail-oriented. You can see how smart he is. There are a couple of things that are new in terms of the vernacular, but a lot of this stuff is same or maybe just a couple subtle tweaks, but his ability to be able to learn, his ability to be able to listen, and then ultimately lead has been a big factor. So I love that. Like, he's that dude that, hey, maybe I'm a little unk status, just because I'm older than some of the younger guys, but I'm imparting that wisdom. I'm paying it back. I'm pushing the game forward because, one, it's just a cool thing to be able to do, but also because you want to win yourself. I mean, I think DaVante Adams can elevate because of his experience, because of his talent, and those little nuances are really what make teams special. There's a lot of teams that have talent in the NFL, and the truth is that in the National Football League, the best team and the worst team are a lot closer than Major League Baseball, than the NBA. And what really makes teams take it to another level is having veterans and stars buy in, and that trickles down. It is the we, not me mentality that Sean McVay established so many years ago. He also said, I think there's nothing more powerful than having the influence on his teammates. He said, seeing is better than said. There you go. Seeing is better than said. I like that. A Sean McVay-ism. The way he moves, but then his willingness to share. I think what's cool is these guys, the more comfortable they get, the more comfortable they'll be to be able to ask questions. So that's definitely kind of what you're going to get if you're a young receiver. For me, it's look at how he gets in and out of his breaks. Look at the work ethic, the preparation, the fact that he's deep into his career and he shows up and he's not like Stephon Diggs on a boat somewhere giving out some weird pink stuff, right? I mean, no, not judging. I shouldn't judge, but I mean, let's just be honest though. I mean, from an optics standpoint, I don't think the Rams would love that, right? You love your guys in OTAs, buckled up, strapped in, and locked in, and that's exactly what he is. And Matthew Stafford, he's talked about the process of building chemistry with DaVante Adams and what's that's been like. And look, they have been familiar with each other, right? I mean, their time in the NFC North, Lions, Packers, he saw DaVante Adams at the peak of his powers, really getting into his prime, and he knows how special of a receiver that he is. Stafford said of DaVante, oh, it was good as far as the connection that he had with them in their first day. It's always a work in progress. We're always talking out there, which is a lot of fun. A guy that's a veteran player has played a lot of football and had a lot of success, so it's fun just trying to communicate as much as I can with him. Obviously, he's made some great plays today, but it's fun to work with guys that understand the game and still have a lot left in the tank, so it was good. So that's cool to hear is, look, Stafford, he knows the business. He knows that Cup was his guy. I mean, he had a podcast together, 9 and Dime. I don't think everyone called 9 and 17. We could find some way to do it. 17 and 9. We'll think of some numerology to make it work. But he understands that it's not going to happen in day one. It's not going to happen overnight. And it's going to really, they're going to need to make sure that those two guys are really the leaders of this offense. And we know this is Matthew Stafford's offense. There's no doubt about that. And no one is doubting that at all. This is his franchise, essentially, while he's here. But I think from a WR1 standpoint, that is kind of the most important thing to make sure you have at that point. Because I think for DaVante, he has bounced around a little bit. There's no doubt about that. And he understands, hey, he knows what it looks like to be in a functioning organization and one that's not. And we also know that Matthew Stafford, what happened when they signed Allen Robinson? Stafford was on a pitch count. They weren't able to build chemistry in OTAs and early on. Now they have that opportunity here with Stafford. Stafford also would say, yeah, I was texting with him late last week, a little bit, and just saying, hey, man, you're a great player because of your skill set. I'm going to continue to work and watch, whether that's watching live after I throw and then go back and rewatch and make sure what I was seeing and feeling at that moment was real. Then we just talk about it too, right? I mean, after every single set, it feels like we're over there talking about it. Hey, this is kind of how I'm thinking, and that I'm going to come out of this or feel that. And it's just constant dialogue. Honestly, those are the best relationships I've had with receivers, and the most success that I've had is guys that want to talk to you about what they felt and what they're doing. And I can also say, hey, this is what it looks like from my angle and go from there. But he definitely has that feeling. He has that understanding, and that's a huge positive. So I eat this stuff up, man. I like to see what's going, what the quotes, what they're saying, what they're thinking. And right now, yes, you're kind of in the honeymoon phase, but these are two football supercomputers, right? These are two high IQ guys that I really think are linking up at a really awesome point in their careers. I really do. I think it's an awesome point to have these two guys on the same team. And I think that DaVante's got to be thinking, hey, man, like, I don't know how I got here, how I end up here, but I'm happy that I did. Couple other news and notes. JB Long, he tweeted out after half an OTA, it appears the Rams will opt to keep the 2-2 down there somewhere concept in the playbook for 2025. That's going to be another interesting subplot this season. You bring back Tutu Atwell, $10 million, and Sean McVay has been pretty open about the fact that he didn't feel like he has done the best job in incorporating him consistently into this offense. And look, I bring my facts to fight. I mean, the numbers bear it out. The numbers bear it out that when you give him opportunities and you feature more, that Tutu can have success, right? So we'll see. That's going to be a major subplot heading into this season. Now, there's another really awesome video, too, of Terrence Ferguson making some really nice catches. I definitely go back and look at the ones of Matthew Stafford throwing to DaVante Adams, the first of many this year. And, yeah, it's a great time. And also another thing, too, J.J. Redick was on the sideline watching the Rams OTAs. And, look, I'm born and bred in L.A., loyal to the soil, love the purple and gold, but it kind of got me thinking, like, man, it's cool that JJ's there. It really is, but I'm like, man, I'd much rather see you on the sideline still coaching. Of course, unfortunately, the Lakers lost in the first round, but it was cool to see him there. I mean, you look at the coaching in L.A., Sean McVay, I think, is right at the top. Then Dave Roberts, J.J. Redick working his way in that mix. So a very Hollywood feel to have the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers at Rams OTAs. Thought that felt very LA. Now, as far as the OTA schedule, it's May 27th, 28th, and then the 30th. Then you got June 2nd and through the 3rd, and then the 5th, and then June 9th, 10th, and the 12th. So after that, we're talking some mini camp. And as far as when guys are going to talk, June 3rd is when DaVante Adams, Puka Nacua are going to talk. Coordinators are going to talk. And June 10th, Sean McVay, and they're going to have some other guys talking too. So, look, I mean, it's on. It's on. And guys are really starting the process. I mean, it starts now. It really, really does. I mean, the chemistry, the journey, the meetings, everything that goes into it, they're starting that process. And even though we're pretty far away from game action, right? 100 days-ish and that kind of stuff. It's before you blink, it's going to be here, and I cannot wait. But coming up next, an update on Kyren Williams' contract situation. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Okay, here in our third segment, we're talking some Kyren Williams. So Sean McVay was asked about the contract situation with Williams, and McVay told reporters, yeah, I think first of all, Agent Drew Rosenhaus has been outstanding. I think the dialogue has been really healthy. And the one thing about these negotiations is trying to be able to figure out, all right, where is that? That line that fits what everybody wants to be able to get done. And we all know how much we love Kyren. Drew's got a responsibility. I think his communication's been excellent, and Kyren has been the same stud that we know. Great demeanor, great willingness to come here to work and be able to get better. He's been great in terms of our communication. So, yeah, typical Sean McVay. We love him. We want to get something done. He's been awesome. Go on to say, it means a lot just because you don't minimize those things are real, and those are real things that guys have to navigate. You want to make sure that you're asking the right questions, giving them opportunities to be able to give you that feedback, and just keep the communication lines open. Hopefully, we'll see where this goes, but I think it's been really healthy and positive progress for sure. So that's extremely positive, the fact that your head coach is being out open to the media about how things are going, right? And the fact is, the Rams want Kyren, and Kyren wants the Rams. It's just now about finding the middle ground on a contract that they think is fair. And we did a deep dive on how he's deserving of a big deal based on his production. I mean, you look at the production in 3 seasons, 2,582 yards, 26 touchdowns, 75 receptions for 464 yards with 5 tutties. Last year, 1,299 on the ground, 14 tutties, and 34 catches for 182 yards, 2 scores there as well. So this is someone that is a productive back. He also fills a role where he's a great blocker as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what gets done, because Kyren Williams, he has spoken about it too. He told The Athletic, I'm very real with myself, and I know I left a bad taste in everybody's mouth last year. I fumbled 5 times. That's not good. You have to take care of the ball if you're on the offensive side. So again, that's another thing that I'm willing to admit and I'm well aware of. I see it. I left it on the tape, and now I have to keep proving myself, attack it every day, because that's a professional attitude. I love that, man. Like, I'm a believer, man. If you want to stay number one, my grandma always told me, if you want to stay number one, practice like you're number 2. And that's the mentality. I mean, I'm sure he loses sleep when he thinks of those fumbles. And the fact is, he's entering the last year of his rookie year and his rookie deal. And I think that the big question I have is, are the Rams gun shy, and did they learn from the Todd Gurley contract? And would that preclude them from giving him a monster deal? And I don't think he's going to get a monster deal, but he definitely needs to be compensated like a top 10 running back for sure. Williams also said, for me, I think it's good faith that we're even still talking, even if we're not where we want to be right now. The fact that Sean Less, the organization, likes me enough and wants me enough to have those conversations a year early, knowing that it doesn't usually happen, especially at my position, just being able to have that respect, it means a lot. So, yeah, 100%. I think for me, with Kyren Williams, it feels like it's inevitable. It really does. That's kind of the gut instinct that I have on it. And they feel like he's a very important piece to what they're doing this year and beyond it. And it's the running back position. It kind of used to be treated like the yellow starburst, where people weren't that into it. It's like, give me the pink one, give me the red one, give me the orange one. I mean, I'm a big pink starburst guy. I'm not going to lie. What's your favorite starburst? Let me know. Running backs are treated like that yellow starburst. Well, it's starting to change. You're starting to see teams commit to that position more in the last couple of seasons, and I think that Kyren Williams could be the beneficiary of just that. But tomorrow we'll be back, another loaded, jam-packed episode of what's gone on at Rams OTAs, and I cannot wait. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.